I'm assuming that you die immediately here. Brian Prime is the worst player in the North American scene. Hey everyone, welcome back to another video, and before I get too much into things, big shout out to my girlfriend Kayla for getting me this neon sign. I got it for my birthday, which was a month ago, but I haven't been in my apartment since, so now we got it hanging up, and it's, it's pretty sick. So, jumping into the video, this is the demo review for Minimise. He messaged me, day before Christmas Eve. He says that he's an MG2. This is not the demo that he had originally sent me, this is a Face It match. But the last couple times I've done Mirage, I've focused on the CT side. I'm going to focus on T side here, just so there's a different perspective. So let's see what happens. Classic contact B. We do have one guy going top mid. Doesn't see anybody in window. Sees a guy in connector. Alright, so Freak made steps. So the contact B is kind of off. That always sucks, especially in lower ranks when, not everybody's on the same page and some people just don't understand that while, yes, you can just run to B and potentially win the round, it is better to do a contact B. And while, yes, contact B is a very overused strategy and it's basically the default pistol round play these days, it still does work and there's a reason why it is the default pistol round for Mirage. So by him running, you guys, you had the potential to bait him. You guys deciding if you should continue to walk and bait him or just run with him took a bit too long. Normally, if my teammate starts to run, I start to run. Like, no matter what, even if, I wanted to do a contact play, just because he's given that up, now I have to give that up, or else I will technically be baiting, even though I'm not the one that made a mistake. So you guys deciding to run a bit late. As you can see, he's really far up. He just dies. You guys aren't in tradable spots. The round is pretty much lost at this point. You also had a guy die top mid, which sucks. I understand the idea to go top mid, but that's not where you lurk on a pistol round. And I know this doesn't apply to Minimise, but I feel like it's, good to say, good to get out of the way. Going top mid on a pistol round when you're doing a contact B is not, you could go underpass, you could go palace, you could go ramp. Those are all much better options because you'll actually hear the rotates and then you can weasel your way in through the defense. By going top mid, you're banking on a Glock hitting a long range shot over a USP, which, let's say you do headshot the guy, you're only going to gush him for 88, 90 damage, which then you have to hit another shot, and by that time he may not even re-peak, so what good have you really done? So like I said, you guys aren't in tradable spots, you're taking it a bit slow, obviously. You do get the kill, but it's a 3 versus 4. Yeah, it was bound to happen. Nobody's wanting to get out of apps, you still have a guy at fan. Round's lost. So now you guys have to decide what you're going to do. You didn't get bombed down. So you guys are going to go for a buy third round. With a buy third round, if you don't get any kills second round, well, if you don't get any kills pistol round, you're going to end up with $2,050. So that means you can buy a deagle, no armor, no nothing, just the deagle, and you'll be able to afford a AK and head armor in the third round. No utility, but you'll be able to do that. So that's just something to keep in mind. There's no reason to just keep the Glock in this round. This is a winnable round. The CTs will not have the best weapons, so I do suggest that you do buy a pistol of some sort. But do keep in mind that you are able to buy a Deeg and still be able to buy a third round. So right here, in this position, the guy's right in front of you, but even if he peeks out, even though he has no idea that you're there, and you have every single advantage, you have a Glock. You're not going to be able to kill him, regardless. If you had a P250, your chances increased tremendously, but you saved on, you held on to your $300, so you will not be able to kill him. So you're walking, your guy's running underpass, which is perfectly okay. If there was a cat player, that would draw him towards mid, so in fact that's actually good that you continue to walk. Your crosshair placement's pretty lazy right here. Even if, like, alright, so the only way that you could have your crosshair here, and you could even make an argument for not, like, having it over right, so, like, at the barrel where the guy could jump up, is that you're watching for the jump peak, but people aren't going to be jump peeking at this rank. They don't understand the concept that well. And two, even if he was jump peeking, his head would still come up more to the right. So you need to not have as lazy of a crosshair. Options where you could put your crosshair. Well, one, you could put it on, like, next to barrel, which is right underneath the red stop sign. You could then check close right where the chair is, you know, to your right where the guy played in the round prior. That's always something that you might want to check out. Or you could have your crosshair at head level on balcony, so if there's a guy close right or close left and he swings out, you're already there and you don't have to adjust. Once again, crosshair placement should be up a bit more. This angle is very good for peeking anybody that is bench. So if the bench guy swings out left, you will be able to see him, but you're going to have to adjust, and by the time you adjust up to head level, he's already in a cross. You don't have too much of a gap there, so things to keep in mind. Once again, what are you looking at? So your teammates have made shots, that means you don't have to hold shift anymore. That's something to keep in mind. What is that guy's legs doing? Y'all see that? They kind of like shifted over. I'm sorry. But no, if your teammate shoots, you don't have to walk anymore. I know it's like, well, it doesn't really matter, but, you know, just obviously in this situation, it doesn't really matter. Like, you just moved a couple feet, but this is just something to keep in mind for throughout, like, all games, all scenarios. Know what info has been given up, and know what info has not given up. And know what info doesn't matter if it's given up at this point. Just, you know, for example, if you step there, that doesn't really matter at this point. So you're still holding shift. You finally let go. You need to get out. You need to get out. You saw that the guy was not peeking cat. That means that you have the ability to jump out. You staying up here is not doing any good. You're not getting any map control. The CTs are going to have a very easy retake because you guys are not close to market at all. You do have a smoke. You could smoke off door. You could smoke off window. You could smoke off cat even. I'm excited to see what you do. So, because you took too long to get down, the opper from window was able to see you, so you did get legged. You now decide to take out the smoke and smoke off where he's watching. And at that point, he's already out. Like, that smoke does get the rotator because, or both rotators, because they both rotated late. Why did you just look at your own flash? You're the one who threw it. You knew that it was going to pop. You knew that it bounced off the wall. You could hear that. I don't understand. That flash is okay. It slows down the market guy if it went all the way into market. I would rather see that used later in the round. You know, probably in 10 seconds. Just, you know, if they're coming out of market, you might have a guy cat. You throw the flash in the air, it might slow them down just a bit because this is they should all have kits. One of the guys on the team doesn't have a kit, but you know, you just want to take as much time off the clock as possible. So something that I would do just in this situation, if I shot at a guy from Van, I'm going to then reposition from Van just, you know, because I don't want them to come around a different angle and pre-fire me. I'd probably get out default here and continue to force the fight against the guy because I know that I tagged him and I know that I need to do something. I don't trust my teammate too much. But yeah, I mean, that's not super important. It's really hard to implement into your game, but just knowing when to be aggressive and when to be passive. So, like, that was a very aggressive peek by you. Good job on jumping up barrel. That would be the second option. If I didn't go default, I would then go barrel. Very good trade and good shot through the through default box. So your team has very low utility. You guys have 2 smokes. The other team does have an R8, so and in the Negev. So basically, this round has been lost for your team already. That's a very hard buy to go up against. Let's see. Usually I skip these rounds where it's, you know, not a gun versus gun round, but I'm excited. So they are jump spotting. He's actually jump spotting very well. He gave up too early into the round. You know, 15 seconds into the round, you don't want to stop jump spotting. Jump spotting's for the B anchor to do for, you know, basically the whole round. 15 seconds won't determine if, you know, nobody's coming apps. So it looks like the round is won for you. You just called that there could be a guy can't because you heard him. And looks good. So CT's had a guy leave. And he hasn't rejoined. It took a whole timeout and the guy didn't rejoin. So what you're doing right now, I really like. On T side, especially Mirage, the CTs will play very different depending on your skill level, depending on who you get put up against, depending on what site they're playing, depending on what position they're playing. It's very, very different game to game to game. So when I'm on T side, I usually stick to the same position over and over and over again. On a default, like, you've gone apps pretty much every single round, which is good. You start to know and figure out how the apps players play. Also, the CT's purchase is kind of whack. They got a guy with 3750 who could have bought M4 light armor, who only bought a P250, didn't even buy armor. But then you have 2 guys that forced up, and then you have another guy that USP'd head armored kit, but once again USP, so it's kind of worthless. He didn't even buy a smoke, so you can't be going for the ninja. I don't know. But you're doing very well here. Again, lazy crosshair placement. Excuse me. No, like, before you turned into apps, you looked at the wall. You just want to, like, clamp your crosshair to that corner and just drag it along. And that's something that you have to get comfortable with. I'll jump in game real quick and show you guys what I'm talking about. So what I was talking about is as simple as this. You know, you're kind of holding this, and you put your crosshair here so you can move over, and it's going to be in perfect position. Alright, but instead, you want to have this here, and you want to get up and keep your crosshair, like, on the right side of this wall. It is kind of difficult to do, especially when you're not super comfortable with your sensitivity. I still struggle with it a little, but I'm much better at it than I used to be. Like, you can line up a little bit, like, to pre-fire, like, if you want to really get in that angle. But for the most part, when you're moving around, you want to, you know, keep your crosshair very close to where you would need to adjust it to, and not do something like this. You know, it would be a very fast type situation. You don't want to have a lazy crosshair. That's one of the biggest complaints that I have with people, or biggest, like, points that I have with people who submit demos, is that they have a lazy crosshair. You see how much, like, I'm moving my mouse around here, and how much I'm making sure that everything's all nice and cleared out, and, you know, taking my time with it all. Alright, that's much different than a lower level player who's kind of just like here, and, you know, he might move here, and, like, he might just, like, get up on here, you know, cycle through some nades or something, and, like, I'm also doing a lot of jiggling, lots of AD, so that's just something to think about. So, things to note so far. All your teammates are dead on A, you have bomb in mid, and their 5th joined back. So, you had 4 players die on A. They executed A site. Obviously, it didn't go their way. You were in apps the whole time. Now, lurking is okay. Lurking's fine. But you want to put yourself in a position where you can help your team. you were getting info B, I understand that, but I think that going underpass would have been much more beneficial. You could walk underpass, you could take as long as you want underpass, but you're in a much easier spot to help out with your teammates, especially you had, I know you guys didn't see it, but he had 2 teammates alive on A, and they were fighting 2 people that were on B. Or, sorry, 2 people that were on A, or possibly 3 people that were on A. And so all the A players at this level are going to be focused on the 2 guys ramp. They're going to be focused on the people that they can see, not the people that they don't see. So if you would have walked out connector or even stayed bottom connector, you could have gotten a kill, which then would draw the CT's attention to you, and then your teammates could potentially get the kill. There's a lot to think about. Luckily, bomb is here, and they don't have it. You could smoke off connector here, run up cat. That is probably the best option you have. I'm excited to see what utility you use, if any. Okay. Reasons that didn't work. You knew the last 2 players were on A, and they didn't have any reason to immediately rotate off. So they're going to hear you make that jump. Let's say nobody is in jungle. You still land, make the noise. Then they both know that you're jungle. The play right there was to smoke off connector, run up to B, use molly either post plant or deep market so you can then get market control, and then hope that you can win the 1v2 aim battles. So their 5th rejoined and then left again. I guess he's trying to avoid a 30-minute ban by playing a 45-minute match. I don't know. But it's a 4 versus 4. You guys are stacked up B. Should be an easy round for you guys. So your palace guys coming over to B. You guys are setting up for an execute. Ooh, good jump by that guy. Alright, so you know that he's off. You can start pushing out a bit. You're still a little hesitant. That's okay. You were waiting for the smoke. So you have full utility. You need to start using it. Your teammate is peaked. They all rotated to A. Once again, you're a little slow getting out of apps. You're not really doing anything right now. You need to take map control. You're being very scared. I'll show you in game. So when getting out of apps, you have 3 options. Option 1, you can jump through window. Option 2, you can jump out on default. Or option 3 is you drop down to fan. Option 3 is the least used option and my least recommended option. So things that util that you can throw. This flash, you know, it bounces off. An easier way to throw this is you get into this corner. You bounce the flash off the wall right here. And that's going to go out and get people cat. If you're jumping out of apps, usually that's when you have some sort of guy cat, or maybe you'll have a get right smoke, well, and a get left smoke, I suppose. But you have some sort of like cat control, which will enable you to get out. Now on pistol round, you don't need the control. You can just jump out. I always turn and immediately look at cat when I jump out because that's the first thing that I'm open to. Yeah, I'm open to market window, but they're probably not going to hit the shot on me. It's much more likely that a guy cat is going to attack me or right under balk. So again, util, you throw that, which is going to land under balk. Well, under window. That will help you clear that out, but this flash and getting out is going to be very useful. If you already have a teammate out, like right about here, he's going to continue to move, which will draw the cat attention towards him, which will enable you to either, you know, peek in there, get the kill, slide in here with a pre-fire and get the kill, or just jump out. I rarely will actually go all the way out to here and then fall off. I will only do that if I don't have a lot of HP. So you got a guy push underpass. No? Why? Why? Why would you jump? You knew he was literally right there. You jump, like, what? You're gonna hit the simple falling op clip. It's not FPL minimize. It's not FPL. You can't do this. It's a major. No. You're being dumb. But what I was going to say before you killed yourself was that, remember a couple rounds ago when I was like, yeah, going B every round is pretty good because you start to realize what the CTs are doing? I stand by that point, but what you're doing is playing so far back that you don't even realize what the CTs are doing. So yes, while you're going B every round, that's good. You're playing so back that even if like the CTs are jump spotting or something like that, you don't know because you're so removed from the action that there's no way you could know. So you're not really getting any info and you're not learning anything about how the CTs are playing the site, so you can't pass anything on to your teammates. You're being useless. I just looked in the kill feed, and you actually killed yourself with the drop because the guy shot you midair, and then your health was so low that when you hit the ground, you actually killed yourself, which I found kind of funny. Okay, so first time you go A, maybe second time, I don't remember. That should be an op shot that you hit. That's okay. You guys switch back. You're not an opper. You had the best spawn. That's cool. That's okay. That would have helped at the start of the round to have, but it's okay. It's still a 5 versus 4. So you should go mid with your teammate here. Okay. Alright, so, okay. You should go mid with your team. You have a guy already underpass. You have one guy up cat. Bombs top mid. You got a guy palace. So you guys are going to go for an A split here, unless palace guy is lurking, in which you're going to go for a B split here, meaning that your apps plays okay. The only reason why I still, like, even if you're going to do a B split, I would not go apps here, just because of how far your teammates are up in cat. And, like, you should be going A here. You have a guy underpass that's pushed out towards mid. Let's see what your team does. You gotta pick connector. Alright, your underpass guy dies. You hear the guy running up cat. You call to your teammate. Your teammate doesn't get the kill. Now you have 1A, 1B. You know exactly where he is. You get the kill here. You win. Alright, so you guys still went for the mid to B. Yeah, it worked out. Your teammates shouldn't have been that far up cat. You kind of did the right thing by going into apps. Like, that's, you know, you probably want a guy in apps if you're going to do a mid to B. But once again, there's no right answer there. I lean towards trying to fix my teammates' mistakes by going with them and helping them, instead of the other option, which is knowing that my teammates are making a mistake, so I'm going to continue to do the right thing, which potentially could lose the round, because I would then be baiting or whatever. So I usually, like, if my teammate does something dumb, I will then follow to try to correct their dumb instead of letting them die and then trying to win the round without them. One thing that really separates higher level players from lower level players are the consistencies of their purchases, and, like, you know, everybody doing the same thing. Like, obviously, yes, everybody on the team bought down. Like, it was a force by the CT side, but the round it's 4-4. Your money should be pretty even with your teammates. Obviously, somewhere along the way, like, I think it happened in round 2 or 3, they forced up. One guy had like 3750, everybody else spot up. That's one thing that in higher level games you see a lot less of. Everybody is pretty much on the same, like, page when it comes to purchasing. Even if somebody, like, goes, oh, I want to force this round, and everybody else is like, no, and they still force anyway, everybody else on the team will go, oh, okay, and force up with them, because they know that having the one guy without the money in the next round could be detrimental to their attempt winning the round. So that's just something that I wanted to point out, not to, not to, whatever the word is, related to everything that I'm saying, but just something to think about. So that time you peeked bench, you actually had your crosshair in a good spot. Before that, you continued to do the weird, like, off-angle spot that you had your pre-aim, but no, you did good there. Look at you. Look at you peeking out. Where's your crosshair? What are you doing? You're just so relaxed. You haven't seen anybody in like 4 rounds now. The last couple kills that you've gotten are just you walking up, being the guy's back turned to you. You have to know how to entry. You just kind of sidestepping out. It looked like you were holding W and D, which is not what you want to do. You want to strafe out, so just hold D or just hold A so you can counter strafe, stop yourself fast. You're also watching Cat while you had a teammate coming up Cat. You have to be aware of that. I'm assuming that you die immediately here. Brian Prime is the worst player in the North American scene. Please don't kill yourself with the molly. I know you really want to frag hunt with your 2 HP, but that was a little dicey, don't you think? I've never seen a P90 hit a first bullet headshot in my life. You even recognized it in chat. You put P90 one tap god. Hey, you're getting it. I also, little note, I like that I'm slowly like reclining in my chair, and I in the last clip you saw me move the microphone back towards me. It's a very relaxed setting here, very relaxed setting on this channel, you know. Uh-oh. Good kill. You didn't take a lick of damage. Ooh, now you have that confidence. You tasted blood. Now you want more. Hate to see it. Okay, we're going for the walk B, drop underpass play. You know, it's very standard, you know. It's not standard. Let's see, you're holding. Let's see. Okay, you have a teammate out mid. You know the guy's Cat. He's not going to peek down at you. He doesn't peek down at you. He's worried about mid guy. So you know he just ran back up. That means you got the green light to go up con. Oh, you got up. Alright, your teammate got him. One thing you have to be worried about, the reason why the guy connector peeked down to you right there, wasn't because you made a step or anything, but your teammate made a step. Your teammate was making a ton of steps, and was he scoping in? I think he was scoping in a lot. I couldn't tell what player it was. But no, he was scoping in a lot. The guy's obviously going to peek down. Yes, you didn't make a mistake there, but you have to be concerned about, or be aware at least, of what your teammates are doing. No, you had the idea. Also, utility. You buy full nades every single round that you can. You use, like, a flash. Or maybe a smoke post-plant. But before plant goes down, you'll use like maybe maximum 2 flashes. But I've only seen 1. You throw smoke right up there. You can run up con. You can even nade behind the smoke since the guy's probably going to be playing on the fringe of it. You could even just flash him. Or you could flash over con and just run up B. Or A, I mean. You gotta use the things that you're purchasing. If you're not going to use them, don't purchase them. So you know that he's pushed behind the smoke before, so you're going to hold it. Oh. Oh. That's a little rough. So you take the shot. You're going to want to reposition here. The guy's going to pre-fire into you. Like so. He knows exactly where you are because you gave away your position. That's just something that, you know, you got to keep in your mind. Always in the back of your head. Know what information you're giving them. And know how they're going to react to it. Oh, we're lining up a jungle smoke, maybe. Good idea to keep the gun out here. Okay, no. Buddy system. They're most likely going to have a second player there, especially if the guy's jumping around. He might be baiting for a teammate. Lining up the smoke immediately. I get the idea of, hey, we just got to pick. Let's go fast before they rotate. But no, you have to, you know, gun out there, especially because he had a pistol as well. I get that it was the bot, like that, and that is also a thing, but he had a pistol. You might want to just be careful for a second player, you know? So you lined up a nice little stairs smoke. You're gonna nade it. Last round, so you bought what you could. You picked up the gun. I think you may have auto pickup on. They kind of looked like you had auto pickup on. You gotta turn that off. If you don't know what that is, that's when you run over a weapon. It not auto pickup, but auto select. It auto like changes to that weapon that you just picked up. You need to turn that off. It will screw you up in a lot of situations, and you'd rather leave that to a manual key input rather than doing that. So yeah, that round, I mean, what could you do? You kind of suicided. Your teammates were baiting. It's just one of those rounds that wasn't going to work out. So thank you all for watching. Hope you've learned something. I do have, I think, 3 demos on, like, in the waitlist after this one. I'm going to try to rip through them here soon. You know, it only took me like a month to do this one, so we'll see how soon really is. But if you do want to submit your own demo, please feel free to join my Discord. A link is in the description. And there is a little text channel for demo review submissions. So again, thank you all for watching. Hope you all learned something, and I will see you next time.